Dial up Cam Jordan's soundbite from yesterday, if you folks don't mind, in our Los Angeles Broadcasting Center, because he when he said it yesterday, we were on the air in the last half hour, and I just knew that this was fodder for shows like this one, and it was going to be chewed up all morning on the sports talk circuit. This is what he had to say when it was brought up to him with Ben Roethlisberger coming into his house in New Orleans this weekend with a Hall of Fame resume.
They've got a quarterback who might be going to the Hall of Fame. He's only been sacked 20 times.
Is that true?
Roethlisberger? Yeah. So,
really?
What did this offense do well?
In this era? You put him at like a top 3 of this era.
I wouldn't put him at the top 3, but I think
top 5 of this era.
He's going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Top 5 of this era.
Roethlisberger, top 5 of this era.
You put him at top 5 of this era.
A couple Super Bowls. He's probably going to have.
Is that a yes or no?
Yes.
You put, so you have, who do you be your top 5? Drew. Tom. Aaron.
Aaron, who's got less Super Bowls than Roethlisberger, but let's keep going.
His numbers are impressive. So you're saying
You're saying numbers are impressive?
His numbers are always impressive.
Okay.
Aaron. Okay, so then you put him right there.
Roethlisberger doesn't have decent numbers.
Peyton
who?
Manning. He's not.
Well, I didn't even count him in the era.
This is the era. He retired 2 years ago.
Him in the era.
That was most of Roethlisberger's career. You're saying he's better. He's better than Phillip Rivers right now.
Right now.
Career-wise. Because you give him the Super Bowl nod. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he didn't have a more accomplished.
So you're putting
have a more accomplished career than Phillip Rivers.
You're putting him at number 5.
Yeah, I put him at 5.
Okay. I mean, okay. I'd honestly put Eli before I put Ben, but okay.
What?
2 Super Bowls. If we're going by his numbers.
Except Eli washed.
I hear you. All right, cool. So you're putting him at number 5.
What do you make of that soliloquy and back and forth there, Ross?
Well, 2 things, Rich. Number one, I don't really agree. I mean, I think he's clearly top 5, clearly a Hall of Famer based on how he's played. But I'm just surprised that Cam would do that. I mean, why would you do that? When you're playing against a team, and by the way, the Steelers O-line, they love Roethlisberger. They're going to play hard for him. I just don't know why you would put more of a bullseye. Like, if it was a quarterback that I liked, Rich, and you're always going to play hard, you always want to win, you always want to be physical.
He is a guy who sent a broom and a bottle of Jordan Cabernet to Cam Newton after sweeping Carolina.
I mean, look, he's entertaining. I get it. But I personally would not put more of a bullseye on myself when I'm about to go play against a team that week. Why give them any extra edge? Why fire them up even a little bit more? And why have guys like me come in to cut you on bootlegs, come in to hit you as hard as I can, trying to get you to shut up?
Well, I mean, we did give credence to the conversation yesterday. Brockman and I went back and forth, and Peyton Manning is absolutely, to Cam Jordan's credit, in this era. I mean, Peyton, since 2004, since the drafting of Ben Roethlisberger, it was Brady, Breeze, and Peyton Manning. Those are the 3 that you can stipulate.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers is in the mix just because he's one of the. I think he's a GOAT. He's earned GOAT status despite having only 1 Super Bowl. And then it's take your pick from the 2004 draft. Right?
I think and it's amazing how good that draft was.
We even threw Kurt Warner's name out there because Warner did have some time before 04.
Yeah.
His period with the Giants is obviously no good compared to what he did before and then after with Arizona. You look at the numbers on the screen here between Big Ben, Phillip, and Eli. Their passing yards are pretty much the same. The touchdowns, Phillip has, he's 20 clear of Ben, and Eli is right around the same. The numbers are clearly in Ben's win column, and that includes the playoffs where he's got 13 wins compared to 8 for Eli, and Phillips under 500 playoff-wise.
I mean, don't you think, Rich, most people would have Ben as the best out of that trio? I think Phillip and Eli is an interesting discussion based on how they're finishing their careers. I think most people would have Ben number 1 out of those 3.
I think so for various reasons. One is because Steeler fans are everywhere. Yeah. Okay, that's number 1, and that's no disrespect to the fan base of the Giants or the Chargers. That's... For instance, he's played in the most Super Bowls. He's played in 3.
Yes.
He also is a guy that is consistently getting his team to the playoffs as opposed to those 2 fellows, Eli and Phillip. So that's why. But when it all comes down to it, people kind of like bashing on Big Ben because he's always saying one sentence too many in his press conferences. There's always something.
He's earned that right, though, Rich. He's earned that right.
You're saying that statement with a tongue firmly planted in cheek is exactly the point.
You know, it's funny. It's ironic that Cam Jordan's saying those things where I just say, what's the upside to saying it, when I never understood the upside to Big Ben publicly calling out some of his teammates. So maybe turnabout's fair play for Big Ben. I don't know.
You know, it was another name that we didn't really talk about yesterday, but he is in this era. Maybe doesn't have the postseason success. It's Tony Romo. Tony Romo has a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio and 30 games over 500 career record.
But I mean, his numbers are obviously some of the best in the history of the Dallas Cowboys, but you can't throw him as a top 5 quarterback in the era. Would you kick one of the 2004 quarterbacks out of the mix or Romo over Aaron Rodgers? Really? You can't.
You know what I think is interesting?
I might take Romo over Eli.
I was just going to say that's interesting because I think there are some people that would say if you knew what you knew now and you were drafting an expansion team in 2004, would you rather have Eli or Romo? I think a lot of people would pick Romo.
Come on, man.
They would.
And I love Tony Romo. I love everything about him.
Eli's had a better career.
The reason why is a
Tony
terrific...
Romo's numbers are so much better than Eli's.
The reason why Tony Romo is a terrific broadcaster is not because he's so effusive and not because he is the guy at the end of the bar. That's what puts him over the top between good and terrific. What puts him in the mix as a great broadcaster is his incredible knowledge of the game.
Yep.
And his X's and O's awareness is off the charts.
Agreed.
Okay? So I'd put him top 5 in terms of that. But you can, I mean, it's so easy to kick Eli because of his lack of success outside of the Super Bowl seasons.
Correct.
Of consistent success. Yeah. His dork face, all of that stuff that everyone loves to make fun of Eli. But Eli Manning is an all-time great quarterback in the history of the NFL. And when you talk about, yes.
4 games over 500. He's 116 and 112.
He has got 2 rings and has been dynamite for a franchise. There's the only one that can raise their hands and say, we put an L in the column of Brady and Belichick in the era of Brady and Belichick. The GOAT quarterback and
Nick
the
Foles.
GOAT coach. Period.
And Nick Foles, Doug Peterson.
That one game sample size with a dominant
prior to
defense.
last year. My bad. Sorry. Thank you for correcting me. I got in a New York roll right here. I got in a New York roll. Please. Romo over Eli? You're just saying that because you think you would have beaten Tony Romo in those Super Bowls.
I'm saying the Patriots lost those Super Bowls to Michael Strahan and Osi Umenyiora.
No, Eli played well. You got to give him credit.
Eli
He made two of the luckiest throws in NFL history.
Why is that throw to Manningham lucky? Brady makes that
throw.
throw
To Manningham was unbelievable.
Brady makes that throw you're talking about. That's the GOAT. That's it right there. When he goes in the Hall of Fame, that's one of the throws.
What was unlucky about Eli broke those tackles to make that throw. You got to give him credit for breaking the tackles.
Holding.
Look, Eli had a better career than Romo. I'm just saying, I think if you ask some coaches and they were starting an expansion franchise, I do think some of them would rather have Romo. Although, I'll tell you where they really lose it, Chris. Romo's durability and the back issues.
Sure.
Eli has
Iron Man, man. Yeah. Iron Man.
Ben McAdoo was the only guy that could stop him from making a start.
By the way, and Ben McAdoo was right, though. Ben McAdoo was right to pull the plug on Eli, and the Giants are suffering because of it.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.